This wall now a bit unsure. You can see all these holes here, and I speculate. I don't know this for sure, but I speculate that these are in fact bullet holes, shells, ball bearings, not ball bearings, not barbarians. It could be erosion, but the depth leads me to think otherwise. On this walk, I have been thinking, what was this used for? I saw a map earlier, and I hazard to say that this was in fact a moat that would encircle the castle, which is again a very Western thing, which the knights were. They were a Western group. However, hey, some Pac-Man graffiti. That goes well with this lovely aesthetic. I don't know. Someone in the comments might be like, oh well, with the angle of the walls and the erosion, blah, blah. I don't know. But I'm going to guess that it was once a moat, especially considering how many grates I've seen. It seems that they would be for draining. Ooh, what is this? There's a hole in the wall here. I imagine it would be for waste. You're learning with me today as I wander around this beautiful, beautiful city. Fortunately, we are coming to the end of, not the video, of course, we still have lots to explore, but the end of the moat, which I'm going to say, but again, I don't know. Someone's going to be very angry with me in the comments because I know I'll be wrong. But hey, it's my channel, not theirs. So, thanks to this lovely information board that I've just found, I can tell you that this originally dates back to the 9th century, not this bit, but the actual fortress dates back to the 9th century AD as a defense against Arab invaders by the Byzantines, or Eastern Romans, if you're like me. And something else interesting here is this cannon. Look at that. Clearly an Ottoman cannon, very large, very in charge. Look at that. Yeah. So when the Frankish knights came, they fortified it, and it has been like this since the 16th century. So I've decided to have a little stop. I got myself a water, Fanta, a small beer. So this is Alexandros Diakos, and he was the first Greek casualty of World War II, dying just a few days after the Italians began their invasion. So, here we have the famous Rhodes Harbour. I think we all know what stood here, but for those of you who don't know, you really should. It was the Colossus of Rhodes, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Now they have 2 statues of deer here, the Dama deer statues. Let's learn more about them, shall we? So, with a female on that side of the harbour and a male on this side of the harbour, what do they represent? The Dama statues were placed here in the on the site of the old Colossus because they are native to this island, very symbolic. It is legend that they've been here since the 6th century BC, and not the statues, the deer, and they gave the island its original name, which means Island of Deer. But others say that the Crusaders brought them to ward off snakes. Very different stories, but each interesting. The first is probably more likely. Something quite interesting about the island here is that when you speak to locals, they seem to think the Colossus is of Apollo and that he straddled the harbour, when actually it was of Helios, the sun god, and he could not have straddled the harbour. It was physically impossible for them to do such a feat. And archaeological evidence from finding parts of the statue in these waters points to that as well. So, this here used to be an Ottoman Bazaar. When I came last year, it was much busier. But it seems due to COVID that a lot of the shops haven't opened. But still, the architecture is lovely, and the Greek government has restored it in a very amazing way, but added their own coat of arms to anywhere where there were former ones. Now, something interesting that I've just seen is there is a cat over there. There are lots of wild cats. Well, I say wild, they're domesticated cats, but they run wild on the island. Should we try and get it over? No. It isn't having any of it. I'm sure one will though. Now, standing up high on these battlements, looking out over the sea, one is tempted to think that maybe defending this place wasn't so bad. I mean, you have a beautiful view, but what one needs to remember is this is not what they would see. It would most likely be much darker. Maybe the sun would be only just rising, and hundreds of enemy ships. In this position, they would be Ottoman ships. Would be coming from, I don't know if you can see it that well, but you can actually see Turkey just over there. Beautiful for us, but terrifying for the people of the past. Now, this gate right here is called the Liberty Gate, though I don't know why. Maybe we can find a sign that explains it to us. A good museum here, though it seems to be shut. I don't know whether it is due to coronavirus or I'm just too late, but no, it seems I'm just too late looking at the signs. I couldn't find a sign for Liberty Gate, but what is a really interesting building is just across the street from here, and it's this building right here. Destroyed and ruined by the Christians. Not the Byzantine ones, the Frankish Crusaders who came and built these amazing walls. Also unfortunately, that's a great moped, that. Lovely. They also unfortunately destroyed this wonderful temple, which was to Aphrodite, and they threw her statue in the sea. It stayed there for 500 years, eroding away, until eventually it was fished out, and it now stands in a museum. Obviously, I will not be going to that museum or any museum today, but when I do go, I will show you. It is a very beautiful statue. Here we have an extra piece of the temple, run down, littered, truly a ruin of its former self. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, that over 2,000 years ago, our ancestors probably stood here and watched as a sermon took place and a sacrifice to Aphrodite. It is is a strange place. But something even stranger I find is that we have here this before Common Era temple, and just over there it seems to be a Ottoman structure. And even then they're surrounded by Christian Crusader walls. It's very eerie. Very strange indeed. But Rhodes seems to be full of different types of history from different places. I've just run into this statue of a I think it's a woman, slightly older woman, but nowhere does it say what it is. I don't think. It's a very nice statue, but I do not know who it's to. I'll have a look round. If I find something, you will be the first to know, and you will be the only to know. So I found a restaurant with quite a nice view. I didn't find out what that statue was for, but maybe one day I will. So this is my place where I will have my evening meal. See if it's any good. So here we are on the Aegean Coast, watching the sunset. That land over there, it's Turkey. And it's very windy here. Beautiful view though. Beautiful view.